Welcome to Coruzant Technologies, home of the Digital Executive Podcast.
Welcome to the Digital Executive. Today's guest is Satish Bala. Satish Bala is an Indo-Canadian award-winning entrepreneur with expertise in the fields of digital marketing, operations management, and product development. Bala works to harness digital strategies to define roadmaps, deliver client-centric solutions, and identify opportunities for development and advancement. He has pioneered the development and launch of 3 digital companies totaling $50 million in sales with 150 staff across 5 countries. He is also the co-founder of South Asian Music Festival in Toronto, DesiFest.
Well, good afternoon, Satish. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brian. Super excited. Appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. This is really, really exciting. And I get jazzed about this because I get to traverse not only just the airwaves or be on this microphone, but I actually get to speak to people all over the world. And like yourself, you're hailing out of the great country of Canada. So this is just so exciting. So Satish, we're going to jump right into these questions and we can start to talk a little bit about your story, your background, et cetera. So you've got quite the career in as an executive, a serial entrepreneur, and now you're the founder and CEO of Schoolio. Could you share with our audience the secret to your career growth and what inspires you?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. And I think, I started as an accidental entrepreneur, very much coming out of the academic world, not confident on what I'm good at. And, I've always loved education, but never been good at school. And those that know the difference will probably, smile and they're listening to this. When I started my first company coming out of university, I just couldn't find a job that inspired me, that wanted me to sort of take, this lifetime of learning and put it into a 10-hour, 8-hour window. So out of desperation, just to not lose my soul, I figured, let me start my own business without knowing what starting a business is, and then see how long I can go to explore what makes me happy and what am I excited about. And fast forward 25 years later, 4 businesses, 3 exits, 50 million in sales. I feel like I'm still learning every day, but I kind of know what makes me tick, which is really being excited about big, large problems, things that I can get my hands into, spend a decade working, see some impact, get the opportunity to work with some amazing people and bank a whole bunch of memories.
I love that. And the fact that you kind of stumbled across or discovered entrepreneurship is amazing. But, out of this journey that you've had is amazing because you're actually providing solutions to make the world a better place. And that's the type of stuff that I really get jazzed about. So I appreciate the share on that, Satish. So Satish, let's talk a little bit about the pandemic. Hopefully it's going away, but, we're hearing, different responses. But now that it is starting to lift, what are your business plans for growth going forward? And will it be any different than the last 16 months?
Yeah, Schoolio, my newest venture, was sort of born out of the pandemic. And I've got 2 kids at home. And one of the things that really struck out for me when the pandemic first happened is how blindly reliant we were on the school system. We dropped them off in the morning, we picked them up after school, and outside of a report card check-in, we were completely sort of oblivious to how to support education at home. And when schools shut down, which you never imagined can happen, that gave me, sort of visibility into a larger problem, which is if you want to homeschool, if you want to help your child at home, how can we create a transparent accessibility to education? And how can we truly partner with teachers and schools and not just get their version of my child, but also educate the teachers who my child really is, a version they don't see at home that, they get to deal with 8 hours a day. And so all this led to Schoolio. And I think as the world, sort of gets back into some sort of a normal and kids are going back into school, we feel it's a bigger opportunity now to sort of take this opportunity as a reset and really innovate and pivot and see if we could, as entrepreneurs, help the education system really build bridges with families, and not just as a report card touch point, but really get to know how can we all support, the child in the middle.
That's awesome. And, you hear a lot of great stories about um, things that have come about because of COVID or because of some other challenge, but this really hits home right where the family is and the children, right? So I think what you're doing is awesome, and this is going to provide a lot of options for people that do have kids that may want to look at some other learning options. So I appreciate the share. So Satish, you're obviously leveraging some new and emerging technologies within your tech stack, I imagine, right? So is there anything you might be able to share with us today?
Yeah, I think, what I'm really excited about, and all of my businesses have a strong technology foundation. If you're a painter, you see the world in colors. As a technologist, I see the world in ones and zeros and platforms that can solve. And, when we started looking at the learning management market and sort of the education platform, so much of it was around singular sort of subject expertise. You go to this app for math or this for language, and they're not connected. And then schools have a completely different platform that they use for internal. And then as parents, we don't have a connectivity to see the big picture. And so we've really sort of sat down and whiteboarded a brand new platform that we're really excited about. And at the core of this particular style of platform development that we're building to take to market is the child's interest in the middle. And as we move as an education platform from sort of a just in case, which is where you and I probably grew up into, or just in case I want to be a lawyer, I'm going to go and do this. And now a next generation of kids are learning just in time, being able to understand the options that get them excited, and then building curriculum that inspires them to keep them excited about education as long as possible, didn't exist. And so we decided, let's go build it. So I'm really excited that, we've got this really cool LMS meets, a learning solution that truly can connect what I believe is the key ecosystem, the school, the parent, and the student. So I'm excited for this tech to come out. And as any good piece of technology, it never comes out fast enough that you want to take it to market. So, we're sort of building it out, and we hope in the next 30 to 60 days, we could fine tune it and take it to market for back to school.
That's great. And we'll certainly get the word out on this podcast about this amazing platform. Again, giving back, helping the communities. And that's something that we're all about and promoting. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
You bet. Absolutely. And so Satish, last question. Can you share something from your career experience that would be helpful for those looking to grow their career in either marketing or entrepreneurship?
Yeah, those are two connected fields. Entrepreneurship is an umbrella, right? There's many types of, opportunities under the umbrella of entrepreneurship. And I've always defined entrepreneurship as a mindset more than skill sets. And the skill sets you sort of go and build support what you want to do as an entrepreneur. And so, if you want to pursue entrepreneurship, really the two things I advise anybody getting into it is really focus on what makes you happy, because there's so many moments as an entrepreneur where we're going to be challenged and pushed and poked and knocked down. And you got to really understand why you're doing what you're doing to stand back up. And for you to do that, you got to be brutally honest with yourself. You got to have a sense of clarity around who you are and what kind of lifestyle you want to live and why you want to do entrepreneurship as a choice. And then once you sort of get that top line figured out, then it's limitless, whether you want to pursue something in tech or in marketing or digital or, restaurants or whatever you want to do. The mindset sets you up to think and act from an entrepreneurship perspective. Specific to marketing, one of the things that I learned much later in life is the art of storytelling. At the end of the day, people buy from people. I don't care if it's a Nike shoe or Pampers or a meal at a local restaurant. Everything about marketing boils down to what is the story you can tell that really connects with somebody that, is looking for this product or service. And does your story resonate well enough? And, not enough emphasis and effort is put into the art of storytelling. And sometimes just because technology is easily accessible, anybody can go into a Canva account and create a bunch of ads. It doesn't mean you have the art of storytelling. So I tell people, focus on your voice, your style, how you narrate things, and then turn that into your superpower of storytelling. And then when you get that perfected, you can market anything, because everything fundamentally comes down to stories, in my opinion.
You're absolutely right. And I think stories are what really pull people in to really find their purpose. And storytelling has always been a way to get people to sit down and listen. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. And that's, without any education background, as an entrepreneur and a father with an education challenge, we're able to, grow this company in 12 months to a point where we got thousands of customers, and we're closed our seed round, and we're, launching the rocket ship. But it came down to building the right story that resonated with parents and educators.
That's awesome. You brought it all together, and I really, really appreciate that. So Satish, it was a pleasure having you on today, and I look forward to speaking with you real soon.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate the time.
Bye for now.